Hey everybody, I'm Peter, and this is Oh For Pete's Sake .stitch, where I just sit here and talk about my cross stitch and what I've been working on for the last 2 months. If you're brand new, welcome, and if you're returning, thanks for all the amazing comments and follows and all of that that happens on YouTube. It's always great to interact with everybody. So it's been 2 months, just because I recorded in April, and my video was 11 minutes after editing, and I understand that catching up with you, regardless of length, doesn't really matter, but 11 minutes barely seems enough for your time. So I decided to just come here in June or sorry, come to you in May and show you what I've been doing the last 2 months. So I've got two finishes to show with you and some works in progresses, and then I came to realize that, you know what, that's exactly what I was going to show you in May when it was 11 minutes. So in order to draw out my video a little bit, I've also got some plans to show you going into the summer months. So the first finish I have to show you is the embroidered ribbons by Modern Folk Embroidery. So I stitched mine on 40 count Zweigart Platinum, and the black is Gentle Arts espresso bean. So you really can't see it in the video, but it does have a black with some really nice brown undertones in it. This is a PDF, and so I don't have the cover photo, but what Jacob has charted is actually 9 of these bands, and I only chose the 3 bands that I liked most. Also included in the pattern is some example or some photos showing how the community in the Netherlands used these bands as decorations on the brim of their hat or like on their cuffs. So that's some really interesting history of these embroidered bands and how they were used. He's got a few examples in his own collection, and so he recharted them for everybody. Uh, his does not include the quote, and so I added mine, and it's Willem Arundus, who who was a Dutchman who helped Jews during World War II by providing them with some documentation in order to get them out of the country. So the quote reads, "Tell people that homosexuals are not by definition cowards," because he was a gay man who was being killed. And then I included a pink triangle because that's what homosexuals had to wear in concentration camps. So that's my first finish that I had in March. My March video, we had special guest Stitchy Linda, and we share a birthday month. And so we shared with you that our birthday sal was going to be Plum Street Samplers Spring Moon. And so I was able to finish this this past Sunday. And so the recommended, well, let me back up. I stitched mine on Dames of the Needle Mermaid's Firewood, using the recommended cotton overdyes and DMC floss. The recommended linen is Fox and Rabbit baked clay. So what I chose is a lot darker. So it just gives it more of a night sky. I personally think it gives it more of a night sky type feel to it. Linda finished hers last week as well, and she used Grandma's stuffing, which is more of a yellow type fabric. And so yeah, so that's my finish. A few changes I made was my basket uses the colors that are in the pattern. However, I looked at the pattern and said, okay, I need to use black coffee and I think it's used brick. I need to use those two colors, and then I stopped looking at the pattern symbols. And what I had done was inverted them. So actually, because I looked at it and I'm like, well, this is going to be a red terracotta pot with little holes in it, like a strawberry planter or something. So I'm like, okay, so the outside is going to be the red. And then I went back to looking at the pattern, and I had mixed them up. And I was too far along to pull it out, so I really didn't care. So that's the first thing I did wrong. And then, uh, so that was unintentional, but the thing that I actually did change on purpose was I really enjoyed all of the flosses being darker, so that way it brought more attention to the lighter colors that are in the moon and stars. So what I chose to do was this is a checkerboard with a dark blue and a light blue floss, and I chose to change it. So what the pattern calls for is almost like this light blue on the top of the flowers, but I changed it to old blue jeans, which is the bottom of the flower, just so that way it was a little bit darker, and so that way more of the pattern was dark compared to the brighter stars. And then because I darkened the blue, then I also had to darken the lighter color, and I just used a DMC from Stash. So that's how I changed it, just so that way the house was dark like the rest, and make it a nice spring moon or spring night type pattern. So that's our and then the birthday Sal was hashtag Spring Moon Sal. If you want to see some of the other folks who are stitching along with us. So it's been fun to see how other people change it. I know Burn Stitches just released a video this morning, and she did hers on a lakeside fabric that's got a blue tinge to it, and so that was she had already started stitching it before, so it wasn't part of the Sal, but I noticed I watched it while cooking this evening, and so she's coming along on it really well. The so those are my two finishes for this month, and the work in progress that I have is a gift, and so I can't show you the gift quite yet. I am going to be recording a video so that way I can show you what those gifts are, though, so that way you can see what I have done for my friends. So that's it. Finishes and works in progress, as I knew it was going to be really fast, but not quite that fast. So now we're going to go into some of the plans that I have moving forward through the summer months. All right, so Memorial Day is this coming Monday, and so summer season starts, and so I want to just show you some of the plans that I have for the summer months. A lot of these are going to be things that I have seen at the Country Sampler in Spring Green, Wisconsin. So I leave in 2 weeks for Summer Stitch Camp at that LNS, and so it's really on my mind right now. All of the things that I have seen in the past as I get excited for the new things that I'm going to see this year. So some of the works in progresses that I want to make some really good headway are models that I have seen at that shop. And so the first one is the Songbird Sampler by Artful Offerings. And so the what I am doing is stitching it on a Fox and Rabbit 46 count baked clay. And I am using the, so you can see that the chart, it has a bright white background. But what the shop has done is provided a conversion to a brown fabric and then sort of have muted many of the colors. So this is what might come out of the drawer to be stitched on. All I have to do is basically the second half. So there's a second chickadee here, and then a goldfinch and a cardinal. And so I could work on this summer. Curious Crafters, they finished this last year, and I think it was Carolyn on Curious Crafters finished this, and so now those chickadees are their the emblem or the profile picture, and so I see it every 2 weeks that they record, and it's like I really need to get that finished. So this summer it will be done. The second work in progress that I want to work on this summer is Deck the Coop Pin Keep. And so I'm using the Seraphim Fabric Chai 40 count. And I'm using all of the called for flosses except for her dress. Her dress has Schneckly, and I'm using Weeks Dye Works Chickpea. I there was one night where I'm like, I want to start something new. I want to start something small. So I pulled everything from Stash, and I just didn't have Schneckly. So I chose Chickpea instead. The other thing that I need to work on is in her, you can see that in her hand, underneath the chick is her hand, which is charted for oatmeal. And it's the same color as the bottom of her dress. And I don't want a ghost in my picture. So I think I'm going to change it to, I forget, Classic Color Work Perfect Pie Crust. So it's a little bit more tan than the oatmeal. So I just didn't want a ghost. So I'm going to change it to the Perfect Pie Crust. I am a little bit concerned that it won't show up on the fabric, but I think this has a little bit more orange tannish color, and so once I put it in a set of stitches, you'll be able to see it. So this is a 3-year-old work in progress, or it's going to be 3-year-old this June, and that is way too long for a pillow. So I really need to get this. This might be, I know quite a few people do a Jolly July. I may pull it out for Jolly July. So that's actually what I might do. Be good to do it that month. It goes pretty quick, so I should get it done in that month. So my third work in progress that is probably at the very top of the list for working on next is going to be the Green Bean Sampler by Shakespeare's Peddler. This is the model that they had was absolutely gorgeous, and a lot of people bought it last year. So I'm gonna see it again, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I need to get that done. So what I've done is I am using what am I using? I'm using Seraphim Time Goes By 40 count. And so the recommended is an XJU design colonial green. And so that's it just was a little too dark. I wanted it a little bit lighter, but I did not want a tan fabric because I've got enough tan fabric on my walls. And so this has more of a green tinge to it. And so I did have to change like this chain of stitches here. I did have to change that floss color so that way it would show up a little bit better on the green background. I've changed the names that were going to appear, and I've also changed the quote that is going to be in the bottom. What is charted is the 23rd Psalm, and what I've chosen instead is a nursery rhyme that is sung to "I'm a Little Teapot." So I've recharted that. I've just got enough things that have the 23rd Psalm that, since this isn't a historical sampler, I'm completely fine with changing it. So yeah, so this is pages 1 and 3, and so I need to do 2 and 4, and I'll be finished. I usually go left to right, but the flowers that are on this side are repeated on the right side. So I just wanted to do all of the flowers so that way I wouldn't get bored with them. And yeah, so this way I have completely forgotten what it was like to do these blue flowers. So when I do them again, it'll be like doing something new. Or at least that's what I'm telling myself is what it's going to be like. So plus it breaks up all of this grass that occurs at the bottom. So yeah, so this is going to be next. When I finished Spring Moon, Linda asked me if what I was going to work on next, and she's going to be participating with Hollis Hands, who does a stitch along where you start a patriotic piece on Memorial Day, and then you try to have it finished before Labor Day. And so Linda's like, "Oh, can you do American Welcome?" Because she knows that American Welcome is on my to-do list. So she's like, "You could do that." And I said, "Well, I was thinking about doing green bean sampler." And she's like, "No, you've got to do that instead." So I gave her the option of what to work on next, and she said green bean sampler. So I'll go ahead and work on that. I'll work on it next. I just paused there for a second because since I'm going to be going to the retreat, I really didn't. It's a lot of fabric to hold at a retreat. So I actually may wait to do that until I get back. That doesn't mean I can't work on it for a week and then set it aside, but I really want to get this done. So it's next. The fourth item that I might work on is a brand new start. So it is gifts from my garden. And so this has been a small that's been on my to-do list for quite a while. And so I'm I'm going to try to get at least some of the flowers stitched before I go to the retreat. And so that way I can just work on all of this black. Now, I said black, but the thing is that actually all of that background is DMC 500. So it's this really dark green is the entire background. I have chosen to do mine on a 36 count fiber on a whim affogato. And then I'm going to be using all of the DMC floss, the recommended DMC floss. I did think about changing some of these to overdyes, but they just there's so many small areas. So like these pink flowers are 3 different types of pink, and the yellow flower at the top is too. So it's just one of those things that I can take the time to change flosses instead of coming out with it, spending the time on an overdyed. So it'll be, you'll, if you're coming to Stitch Camp, you'll probably see me stitching on that. So those are all my plans. So now I can go through my haul. Back in March, the day we recorded was the last day of market. And so I went to the market days at Brick City Cross Stitch and just hung out with folks there for the first day of market week. And while I was sitting there with Linda, somebody came up and gave us, and I didn't ask her if I could share her name, so I won't, but she was very generous and gave me a gift certificate to the shop for my birthday. And so my birthday gift was Gifts of the Season by Blackbird Designs. And so other folks have shown this, have flipped through this, but it's got the sampler and then this pillow. But one of the reasons I chose this book instead of the other one that was released this market was because of this large sampler that is included in the book. And so there's just a lot of floral motifs and berry baskets and birds and animals that I can easily steal from for creating little gifts and needlebooks and bags and whatever I decide to gift. So yeah, so that's why I chose this book first over the other one. And then my second market purchase, we're still waiting for the wholesaler to ship the patterns to Brick City. So that's it for haul. It's just those two books. So yeah, makes it really easy. I'm saving my pennies for the retreat and what may be coming in the fall. So that's all I have for this March, or this March, good grief. That's all I have for this May. I really hope I get to see many of you in the beginning of June at the retreat. I am going to be showing up a little bit late. My family has a graduation in DC, and so I'll be flying from DC Thursday morning and then driving from Chicago to Spring Green. So I'll be getting there at lunch. So unfortunately, I'll be missing some of it, but hopefully we can make up for it with some time at the restaurants. So thanks, everybody. I look forward to meeting up with you again in June. So thanks, y'all.